The last video I made for YouTube was only 2 weeks ago, my review of Pixar's Elemental. If you haven't seen that, check that out. But it feels so long since I've made a video. But guess who's back, back again, again. The black gay guy's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back, 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 guess who's back. Ba-da-da-da. And welcome to my safe haven, everybody. Like I said, I am back. Thank you so much for joining me for another review here on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. If this is your first time checking out one of my channels or checking out my video, thank you so much for joining me. Let me introduce myself. My name is Michael. I call myself the Black Gay Comic Geek, and I always say the things that I love to talk about on my channel has blood, sex, gore, and magic, or any variation of the four. So I like to talk superheroes, video games, comic books, animated movies, sci-fi, fantasy, horror movies, action movies, and of course I like to talk about black representation and queer representation. So if that's something that you're interested in, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, become one of my safe haveners, and also check me out on TikTok, Twitter, if that's still a thing. I'm also on the Spill app, so follow me on there, Instagram, etc. Follow me on all the social medias. Click the link in the description box below to follow me across all platforms because I do different things on different platforms. YouTube is strictly for movie reviews and things like that. TikTok and Instagram is just for general commentary of what's going on with life and everything. So if you want all of my different opinions besides just my movie reviews, follow me on all platforms. But with that said, you're here on YouTube. Do the YouTube thing and help me get this video out there so my channel can grow, so this video can grow, and hit the like button. It'll really help with the YouTube algorithm. And like I said, getting this channel out there, my video out there and everything like that so I can continue to grow. I'm like halfway to the point of I'm like at 67 or 76,000. Not 76,000. I wish I was at 76,000. 7,600 subscribers. Let's continue to grow so I can hit 8,000, so I can hit 9,000, 10,000, etc., etc., etc. And we can expand the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. But with that said, like I said, it's been a while since I've posted a video because if you were following me on Instagram, you already know this because you've seen my stories. But the last like 2 weeks, I've been super sick. Like, to the point that I couldn't even keep water down. Like if I drank water, it was immediately coming out within 2 minutes. And so I had to go to the ER. They put me on an IV drip. They said I had E. coli, and then the E. coli gave me a UTI, which I don't think it was E. coli because even people that were like, that are nurses and things like that, they're like, you shouldn't react that severely to E. coli that you can't even keep water down. But whatever. Thankfully, I'm healed now after all this time. So that was the reason I haven't made a lot of videos within the last 2 weeks. But thankfully, with that said, this video is actually sponsored by Liquid IV. And the reason I bring that up is because they sent me this thing a while ago, but I never actually opened it or used it or anything like that. But then thankfully, when I got sick, I still had these, in my disposal. And before I started throwing up water, I ended up using these. And these are basically hydration multipliers. And they're an electrolyte drink mix. And one stick, faster hydration than water alone. And it says it offers 2 to 2.5 times faster hydration than water, 3 times the electrolytes, essential vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C. And of course, it has a great taste. I used this when I was sick, and it definitely helped me out in terms of like keeping my hydration and everything and keeping me from being dehydrated. Because when I went to the emergency room, they were like, because like I said, I was throwing up everything. And they were like, your electrolytes are pretty good. And a lot of that has to do with this. And they have a lot of different flavors. The flavor that I'm currently drinking it right now, because I'm still not 100%. Like, I'm better overall, but I'm not 100%. So I'm still trying to keep, because I actually threw up yesterday, if you can believe it. But the flavor that I'm drinking right now is watermelon. Don't judge me because I am black. It is a stereotype. But I don't pick the flavors. I just open this bag up, pull out whatever flavor. I guess everything in here is watermelon, but they have different flavors. But this particular bag is all watermelon. So, and it has a great taste. and it keeps you hydrated, especially right now on this July 5th here in Jersey. It's hot as hell outside. It's like 95 degrees. So of course you want to stay hydrated. I'm not just selling this and saying it tastes good just to make, to sell it. No, like I said, I had this for a while and never touched it because they wanted me to promote it. And I was just like, I'm not doing like whatever. And then I actually tasted it. And when I needed it, when I was sick, and I was like, oh, this actually works. So with that said, use the code in all caps, BlackGayComicGeek, to get 15% off of some Liquid IV. And it is non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So thank you so much to Liquid IV for sponsoring this video. Again, use the code BlackGayComicGeek. Now, let's get on to the review, shall we? So the movie we are here to talk about is currently the number 7 movie on Netflix. And let's get this movie to be the number 1 movie on Netflix. So that kind of tells you my thought right there of what I thought about this movie. But the movie is called Nimona. Like I said, it is currently on Netflix. This is going to be a non-spoiler review. It actually just came out not that long ago. And the synopsis for Nimona is: a night framed for a tragic crime teams up with a scrappy shape-shifting teen to prove his innocence. But what if she's the monster he's sworn to destroy? And for those of you that don't know, because I didn't know this either until I looked it up, but this movie is actually based off a graphic novel of the same name, written by N.D. Stevenson. And N.D. Stevenson is a trans-masculine, non-binary creator. I believe they use he, him pronouns, but just to be safe, I'm gonna say they actually are the creator, showrunner, and executive producer of She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. And I never finished She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. I started season 1, and based on what I saw, and it ran for 5 seasons, I liked what I saw for She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. So I definitely need to go back and watch She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. And I also need to purchase the graphic novel of Nimona, but currently it's sold out everywhere, so I can't get it. Amazon, like, it's sold out everywhere. But based on what I read from the graphic novel, the story from this is kind of very different from the graphic novel. So if you read the graphic novel, I feel like you'd be in for a treat with this Netflix series, because the story is completely different for the most part. But with that said, I absolutely loved this animated movie, and it's definitely going to go into probably one of my top favorite animated movies, or just movies of this year. I mean, right now, John Wick is number 1. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is number 2. And then I got to think about everything else. But Nimona is definitely going to fall at least within my top 10 so far of movies that I've seen this year. Granted, there's other movies that haven't come out yet that I haven't seen yet. Like, where's Mission Impossible going to fall on that list? The Color Purple comes out in December. I know that's going to be in my top 10. I freaking love that musical. So I had to think about it. But Nimona is definitely going to be in my top 10. I love this. I absolutely love this movie. The animation was cool. The character, like, I'll get more into it a little bit, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more backstory in terms of the movie in and of itself. This movie, the main character, even though the movie is called Nimona, so she's technically the main character, the actual main character, his name is Ballister Boldheart, voiced by Riz Ahmed. And the thing that I loved about this animated movie, again, talk about black representation and queer representation. Granted, he's not black, but he is brown, so that's kind of close enough. But the main character is a gay man. And it's an animated movie starring a gay man. And then not only just that, but like, he's not subtly gay. He's not blinking you'll miss it gay. Like, his homosexuality and his love story with his partner, Goldenloin, who's voiced by Eugene Ali Yang, an Asian actor who's also gay in real life. Their love story plays a very integral aspect to this story and to this movie, and drives the entire narrative. And that's something that I love, because something that you don't see often, especially when it comes to animated movies. And funny enough, this movie was originally supposed to come out from Disney, because Blue Sky Studios, who's a part of Fox, got the rights to commission this graphic novel into a movie. But then Disney, now Disney owns Fox, and so that fell under Disney's umbrella. And Disney had a lot of pushback with regards to the same-sex love story, and especially the same-sex kiss that happens in this movie. And had this movie been released for Disney, it would have been the first animated feature-length film to feature a queer love story with Disney. But then Disney, again, under the leadership of Bob Chapek, they had problems with the queer love story and everything. And so the movie ended up getting shelved for not just for that reason, but other reasons as well. But the movie got shelved. It was bought by Annapurna Studios. And I talked about this on, these are some of the commentaries that you would get on like TikTok and Instagram, because I talked about that on there. But it was bought by Annapurna Studios, and then Netflix got the rights to distribute it, and now it's on Netflix. So thank you, Annapurna Studios, and thank you, Netflix, because this is definitely a win with regards to queer representation, because I really enjoyed this movie. And then you also have Chloe Grace Moretz, who most people know as Hit Girl from Kick-Ass, who's the voice of Nimona. Like I mentioned, Eugene Lee Yang is the voice of Goldenstein, Golden Loin, whatever his name is. And the thing about this movie that I love is just like there are so many layers with regards to the storyline, not just in the queer aspect with Ballister and his boyfriend, but then kind of in like the trans allegory with Nimona herself, with her being a shapeshifter, not identifying as a girl, and basically saying like, she doesn't feel herself when she's not shapeshifting. The time that she feels free is when she gets to be herself, and that is as a shapeshifter. And then also, when you really think about it, and especially with everything that's going on with the Supreme Court right now, there's some aspects of talking about affirmative action and like looking outside of, looking outside of your environment to find people that are qualified, and nepotism and how that can build corruption. And there are people that are worthy that might not be part of the upper class, but if you don't look for them, you're not going to find. Like, there's a whole bunch of elements in this movie that I just really enjoyed, and themes in this movie that I really loved that they injected. And that's also why I always say representation matters, because through representation, you get different lenses and different perspectives with your storytelling, especially with N.D. Stevenson being a trans-masculine, non-binary storyteller. You get to learn about certain aspects that you wouldn't get from just a typical straight white man telling your story, writing your story, directing your story, producing your story, starring in your stories, etc. But with that said, like I said, the animation style was fun, and just the way and the interaction, the father-daughter, mentor-mentee dynamic between Ballister and Nimona, like, they were the things that kept this movie worth watching. And seeing how like quirky the character of Nimona is, voiced again greatly by Chloe Grace Moretz, and how gung-ho she is about murdering people. And of course, Ballister being a knight, his whole duty is about protecting people. And he's like, and it's almost kind of like, it reminds me of like Guardians of the Galaxy, where Drax is like, we're gonna murder them, and he's like, no, we're gonna murder one insignificant guy that nobody cares about. And they brought that back in the third movie, and it's kind of the same dynamic between Ballister and Nimona. And I just love seeing their interaction and reaction. Like I said, I love this movie, and I hope, especially right now it's number 7 on Netflix. Hopefully we can get it to be number 1 on Netflix, and Netflix renews it or commissions a sequel for this movie, because I would love to see more of this world. I would love to see more of these characters, the lore and everything like that they explored in this world. I would love to see that expounded upon, because there are certain questions that I have by the end of this movie. Not to say that this movie wasn't complete, but I just have more questions about the world, and I would just love to see this world explored more. And in some ways, it also kind of reminded me of Attack on Titan with some of the themes and everything like that. And overall, this movie isn't completely dark, but there are some darkness and dark themes, especially with like death and everything like that in this movie. But I still had a fun time. I would totally recommend you check out Nimona. Like I said, let's get this to number 1 on Netflix. I definitely recommend, even though I haven't checked it out myself, I still say check out the graphic novel to see the difference between the movie and the show. And of course, supporting queer artists and everything like that. So once it's not sold out anymore, definitely check out the graphic novel. Also, again, make sure you check out Liquid IV. Code BlackGayComicGeek gets you 15% off. Help a brother out. But with that said, though, have you seen Nimona? If you have, let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, if you can, again, hit that thumbs up button. It'll help with the YouTube algorithm getting this video out there. And if this is one of your first time checking out one of the videos on my channel, please check out the other videos on my channel. If you like what you see, please subscribe for more. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video. I haven't done this in so while. I'm like forgetting what I say at the end of every single video. Well, with that said, tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.